Hey guys, Miss Estrada here. I just wanted to go ahead and finish the Dig Deeper lesson from yesterday. I'm so sorry. I did not upload everything yesterday. My internet went crazy and it wouldn't let me upload any of the videos. So I wanted to go ahead and go through the lesson with you. Um, as you saw in the previous videos, we did our vocabulary. We read the first section, which talks about pollen and how the seed is made, and the second section talks about how the seed becomes a plant. So what I did here was I did two thinking maps, and both of the thinking maps are with a cause and effect. So another way that we can think about it is the cause as why something happens and the effect as what. So the why this is happening to in order to make the what. So we'll start with this bottom one that I have here, which is the pollination process. So how does it start? Let's think about what happens as we're reading the story. What are the causes of it, of the seed? So what we're thinking of here is go back to the beginning and think what pollination is, how the seed is made. So here in our big box, we're going to write the seed be the seed begins to grow. Period. Now, what is one of the things that happens first in order for that seed to grow? So what I did is I was like, okay, so I went back to my story, and what I noticed is that after the story told me all of the parts of a flower, then it told me how the seed was started to get made. So when I look here at the picture, we can make it bigger. We see these little flicks going from one flower to another. And then I remember reading that those are grains of pollen. And those grains of pollen go from one flower and they land on the stigma of the other flower. So I will write that down. So grains of pollen fly and land on the stigma of a flower just like its own. Now after that, I went ahead and I went to the next page and I thought, I kept reading here. It says if a pollen grain from a flower lands on the stigma, it goes through the pistil and into the ovule. So one of the ovules. So that's what happens next. So I went ahead and I put that the pollen travels down the pistil of the flower into a ovule. Now once the pollen has gone in there, the seed grows inside the flower. So that's how the seed begins to grow. So it says it grows a long tube through the pistil. This is one of the beginning of a seed. The seed grows inside the flower. Okay, so then here we put seed begins to grow inside ovule, period. So that is how a seed is made. So we'll put that here for our cause. So these things cause for a seed to be made. So a grain of pollen flies and lands on the stigma of a flower, just like its own. Pollen travels down the pistil of the flower into a ovule, and the seed begins to grow inside the ovule. And that's how a seed is made. Now, the second thinking map I have here is this thinking map is a little bit different. It's a flow of cause and effect. So, first, we're going to talk about things that cause germination to happen, and then what germination cause is, the cause of germination, the effect that that has. So, first, when we talk about that, when we talk about germination, I wanted to go to the diagram. So I came over here, I looked through my pages, and here it talks about germination. But before this happens, I went back and I said, so what happens first to the seed? So first, the seed lands or is put into the soil, and that's what it tells us here, is that each seed lands on the soil first, and then once it's there, the soil gets soaked by rain or water, or watered by, someone, and the seed is softened. Oh, there we go. And once the seed is softened, I went to the next page. And here I remember that when the sun shines warm on the ground, the seed coat breaks open. So when the seed coat breaks open, that is what causes the germination. So sunlight warms. Did it say that the sunlight warms the ground, and seed coat breaks open. And that is what causes those things cause for the effect of germination to happen. Now, germination has its own things that it affects. So that causes the root to begin to grow. So the root grows down into the soil, and that's how the plant gets its food, from that root, and the water from there as well. And then once that happens, I was going to put that here. The root takes, a shoot comes out from under the ground. And after the shoot, the leaves begin to grow on the plant. And that's a flow. So the seed lands, it gets soaked in the rain, and becomes softened, and then the warm sunlight finally pops open that seed coat, which begins the process of germination, and that germination causes the root to grow down, a shoot to come up, and leaves to grow onto the plant. until it keeps growing and growing and growing, and then the process starts all over again because it'll create a flower. The flower will create more seeds, and more plants begin to happen. So I hope you were able to follow along with what is a cause and effect, and maybe you have your own ideas after reading the story of what is something that causes that affects something else. So go ahead and share it with someone at home, a pet, or again, even your stuffed animal. Okay? Talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.